Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is the virtual finance training for DragonFly and our school finance treasurers and staff. Leading our discussion today will be Dana McMillan with DragonFly. She is the controller there and comes with significant financial background and will help folks get set up and utilize DragonFly as it relates to accounting and finance. If you have questions, please type those in the chat. We have muted all your mics, so please type those in the chat and we will get to them at the end of the presentation. Dana, it's all yours.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Laura, for the intro, and thank you all for joining today. I'm excited to help you get started and walk through the software and answer any questions that you might have. So as Laura mentioned, I am Dana, the controller with DragonFly. I've been with DragonFly for a couple of years now, and 13, 14 years of accounting experience kind of on your side of the desk. So hopefully, we'll speak the same language, and any questions that you may have going forward, feel free to contact me directly. So just a quick intro overview of what we'll go over today. We'll talk about your organization structure, if this isn't already currently set up, whether you want a district level account or you're just operating out of a high school account. We'll talk about the user management and permissions and where to find that and where to make adjustments to that as needed. We're going to talk about setting up your bank account and where you will manage and update that as needed, as well as your DragonFly cash account. We'll talk about how you fund your cash account, where you'll go to pay your officials. We'll go over some of the reports that are available in DragonFly and how you'll review all your transactions. We'll talk about the 1099 process, and then I just threw out here on screen, out on our website, if you haven't already been out there, there's lots of education material, pre-recorded videos, as well as just how-tos. You can just search quick, how-tos. And like Laura said, if you have any questions, just throw them in the chat. We'll go over that at the end. I've got my email address out here as well as our support team. So like I said, feel free to reach out to me directly if you have anything finance related that I can help with. Happy to help any way I can. I want this to be a smooth transition and be available for you all, any way I can. Our support team is available as well. They're going to be good on anything as far as, setting up your account, permissions, game schedules, anything like that. The support team are super skilled and going to be helpful with that. So I'm going to just jump right into the software. So I'm going to click over. I'll start by saying, if you haven't already created a DragonFly account, I'm sure, most people already have, but if you haven't, you'll want to go ahead and do that. So to create a DragonFly login, you're going to just go to our website, which is dragonflymax.com, and sign up for free. Anyone can join for free. So we recommend, everyone needs their own login. There's no need to share usernames and passwords. You'll create your own login, and, all of the functions inside of the platform are user and permission based. So you'll see what you need to see based on your roles. Once you've done that, you're going to request to join your school. So all of the high schools are already loaded into DragonFly. So once you've created your username, it's going to ask you what your role is, as far as a financial position, and then just request to join your school. So touching on the organizational structure, I've worked with several groups, and just from previous experience, even beyond Ohio, everyone kind of operates differently, whether they're managing just their individual high school versus maybe you're at the district level and you're managing several high schools and making payments for several high schools. So we can set that up inside DragonFly however you all want to. The high school accounts are already loaded. The district accounts, you know, if you haven't already reached out to us, several people have, but those are not going to be, you know, already preloaded. So if that's something that you need for your structure, you know, reach out to me or the support team and just let us know, and we can help get that started so that you're, you know, operating more at a district level umbrella with your member schools below you. If you're just operating from the high school level, you know, you'll join, connect to that school, and you're ready to go. Once you are, you know, inside of DragonFly, you've connected to your schools, you're ready to go. One of the things that I like to first point out and start at is our user management page. And so that's going to be found here in the Schools and People tab. So if you come to the Schools and People tab, this is going to show you everyone that's connected to your school. If we filter to the staff view, and we're going to be looking at everyone, it's going to give us a list of all staff members that are currently connected to your school. And so what this is just quickly going to tell you are who's connected and then what user role they have. So you'll notice in the gray box, it's going to show you what user role each individual has. If you want to make a change to any user role, you would have to have the administrator role, but any administrator can make a change if necessary. So to do that, you're going to click a name, and it's going to open up, you know, their profile here on the very right hand side, these three dots. If you click that and change roles, this is going to show you all of the permission roles that are available to assign to a user. So I like to point this out just so you know, when you're setting up your bank account and your cash account, those are permission based. So depending on how you set up those permissions, you may need to come in here and adjust those user roles for certain individuals. It may be, you know, that you want to assign the cash account and the bank account just to a financial role. So you would want to make sure that any individual that needs that is going to have that role. So I like to, again, just show you where to access that if you need to reference that when you're, you know, setting up your bank account and your cash account. Any member that joins your school, so if you haven't already joined a school and you request to join the school, an administrator is going to have to approve that. And then going forward, you know, any additional request to join the school, any administrator role within the organization can approve that. And so when you are requesting to join and you go to approve, it's going to show you what user role that person has requested, and you can also make any adjustments at that time if needed. So just know, you know, if a staff member requests a financial role, you're going to have the ability to review that and approve that or change that if necessary, kind of thing. So moving along to our setup of our accounts, that's going to be found here in the school funds. So if we move over to school funds, and then manage accounts. So this is going to be where your bank account and your DragonFly cash account live. And so this is where you would link your bank account to, if you are going to fund your DragonFly cash account via ACH debit, or if you're going to withdraw funds from the account, you're going to need that bank account linked. Now you can fund your DragonFly cash account via paper check if that's necessary. We have a lot of schools that still, you know, prefer to do a paper check or are required to do a paper check, and you absolutely can do that. So you're able to fund your DragonFly cash account either by paper check or by an ACH debit transfer. If you do it by a paper check, we just request that you send the funding instruction sheet, which is located here at the bottom in the financial forms. If you would just fill this out and print it, fill it out, and send this with your check, just so that we ensure that your check is deposited to the exact cash account that you are intending for it to go to. So again, that's just to manage accounts and then funding instructions. So that would be needed for a paper check. in order to fund your account via ACH debit transfer, or when you're going to request to withdraw funds from your account. So anytime that you have a balance in your cash account, you're able to withdraw those funds back to your bank account, you're going to need to have this bank account linked here. And so to set up a bank account and get that added, you're just going to go to add new account, bank account, and then create. It's going to ask you very standard, new bank account creation details. It's going to ask you personal, business, checking, savings, the name on the account, routing number, and account number. It's also going to ask you to verify who can use this account. And so this is what I was referring to as far as the permissions. So this is asking who can use this bank account. Just know that this is separate from who can use the cash account. So in a lot of instances, you may have, maybe the CFO funds the account and a treasurer clicks pay on the game. Or maybe your athletic director clicks pay on the game. You're able to set those permissions separately, however the operation works inside your organization. So just know that this who can use this account is specific to the bank account. They are able to transfer money on or off the platform with this bank account. You can set that via user role. So that's going to be anyone that has this actual user role, or you can type in individuals which are connected to your school. Just keep in mind, if you select just yourself or just one individual, and that, you may have a personnel change and you haven't allowed someone else access, that's just going to require, someone to reach out to Dragonfly to update that on your behalf. So just note, if it's, specific to an individual, it is truly specific to only that individual until that changed. So, again, maybe assigning the financial staff is going to include anyone that might need that in the future. Once you click save on this bank account, it's going to send micro deposits to your bank account. So it's going to be 2 small deposits in and 1 withdrawal out. It's going to net that to 0. It's going to pop up right here and ask you for those micro deposit amounts. So it usually takes 1 to 2 business days to see that in your bank account, but you're just going to go grab those penny deposit amounts and come in and enter those in the field, requesting right here in your bank account. And once you do that, it's going to green check mark, verify the bank account. And once that's verified, it's connected, it's ready to go. That micro deposit process is just a security feature. It confirms that you have access to the bank account that you've added into the account here. So once you've done that, you've connected your bank account and it's verified, you're going to want to review your Dragonfly cash account. So I've mentioned the name Dragonfly cash account. So you're probably familiar, but this is the holding account inside your specific organization where your funds are going to sit, and then that's where you're going to pay your officials out of. So you're going to fund the Dragonfly cash account, and then from that, you're going to make payments to your officials. So by default, every organization inside Dragonfly gets 1 cash account. We name it the general fund. So your school comes with a general fund. You are free to create up to, I think the limit is 20 cash accounts. And so the reason that you might want to do that, I've seen schools, create cash accounts per sport or maybe per season, or it's really just there if you want to use it as an organizational tool. And so maybe you fund football and then pay all of football out of the football account. And then you fund basketball and then pay all of basketball out of the account, so that when you're running reports, and we'll look at the reports, but it just simplifies those transactions are specific to that cash account. You absolutely can operate out of one, just the general fund. So you fund everything into the general fund and pay everything out of that fund. The reports are going to give you all of the detail you need to reconcile that whenever you need. So I kind of see it go both ways all over, the states. Some use multiple, some use one. So that's completely up to you if you want to create additional cash accounts. And you can do that at any time. So maybe, you know, going into the spring season, you decide you want to do something different. You're absolutely, this is for you all to do however works for you inside your organization. If you want additional cash accounts, you're going to do that still here in manage accounts, add new account, and you're just going to add Dragonfly cash account. And so when you do that, it's going to ask you, you know, just confirm what organization you're logged into and connected to. You can name it, and then it's going to ask you these two separate permissions that are specific to the cash account. So who can view this account, and then who can pay with this account. So the idea being maybe, you know, any athletic director, principal, coaches, whomever you choose can view the account. So they're going to view the activity in the cash account, but only maybe the financial role will have the button to click pay. So who can pay with this account means that group of people will have the button to click pay. So again, you set this up however it works inside of your organization, but just know that you can set those up separately if you want to. And again, this is specific to the cash account. So who can pay with this account means who can use the available funds in the cash account. It does not mean they can pull from the bank account. It means that they can click pay and use the available funds in the cash account. So like I said, that allows for one user role to be the one to fund the account, and then maybe one user role pay from the account. You, again, set it up how you want to, but just know that you can set those permissions separately. I do recommend, as you're getting started, because every school default has a general fund, come in here and take a look at it. So if you click on this general fund, and then we go to edit cash account, you'll notice in this example, we have already, you know, reviewed it and made some updates. But I will say by default, the user role on who can view and who can pay is administration. So that's going to say anyone with the administration role can view and pay for the account. That may or may not be the case. So just by default, that's the way the general fund is set up. So, you know, go in, take a look at that, make any changes that are necessary to your organization before you fund that account. Once you have connected your bank account or you're sending a paper check to fund the account, you've reviewed your cash accounts, we're going to move over here to the accounts tab. And so on the accounts tab, if you're funding it via ACH, you're going to do that via the transfer funds and then the withdraw button. So to move money on the platform is going to be transfer funds, and then to withdraw money, request a payout, that's going to be withdraw. So to transfer funds, we'll select the transfer funds button from, you know, once your bank account is connected, you're going to select your bank account. 2 is you're going to select the cash account. So if you have multiple cash accounts, you can select which cash account you want this to go to, the amount, and then this description is editable. So you can, you know, put fall football or, you know, whatever you want. Once you submit that, an ACH transfer onto the platform is going to take, we say 2 to 5 business days. You know, typically it's closer to 2, but we do say 2 to 5 just to kind of cover our bases. I'm going to click over into a test system to show you kind of what that begins to look like as you are using the cash account and that pending transaction. So once you click submit on that request in, you're going to see a line item populate with a pending transfer onto your account. So you're going to notice it's sitting in the pending balance. You'll see your available balance here. Once those funds post to your account, it's going to move obviously from pending over to available, and then it's going to move from pending to committed. Available funds are funds ready to be used. You are able to use any of the available funds, and then you can make a withdrawal from your available funds. You can make a withdrawal from your account at any time. So to withdraw, you know, back to your bank account, you're going to select the withdraw button. You're going to select the bank account that you want it to go to. If you only have one, you know, you'd have one option. And then the amount to draw, you'll notice you can only pull from the available. Anything pending, you know, you can't pull back yet. once you commit and, you know, confirm that you want to make a withdrawal, you would see the same type line item with a withdrawal out to your bank account. And again, that's going to take 2 to 5 business days to post to your account. Typically closer to 2, but just note 2 to 5. We say 2 to 5 before you start contacting support, but you know, it is usually closer to 2 days. So, you know, again, still in this test system, as you begin to use the cash account, you're moving money on and off, making payments, you know, you'll see how this begins to build out. And so you're going to have a transaction record for every money movement in the cash account. So any money in, any money out, you're going to have a record of that here in your cash account that's just going to go on indefinitely. If you click anywhere on a transaction line item, so if we just click this transaction line, it's going to open this side window, and it's going to just give you a quick snapshot here of, you know, the game that was paid, the amount, who made the payment, and then it's going to also give you the option to open and save a PDF receipt of that transaction. Also, those PDF receipts can be found here in this Invoices tab at the top. So if we move over to Invoices, this is going to be your storage place that's going to just contain all of those invoices that are being generated. So any time you make a payment to an official, it's going to just automatically create an invoice and stamp that paid. So you have that record and your official has that record, and that's going to be stored here in this Invoices tab. Again, indefinitely, you can get back to that. If you click here on these 3 dots and just view details, it's going to give you, you know, a snapshot of that invoice. You can also, you know, print, download that and save it if you need it. So that's going to be stored in that Invoices tab, as well as it's attached to your transaction line items here in your cash account. One of the other, you know, just helpful hints you'll see as this begins to build out, you're going to have pages and pages of transactions. Just it's going to go on, you know, for years. So this little jump to date box, just a kind of helpful hint if you're trying to get back to, say, last October payment, rather than clicking the arrow back, you know, 20 times to get back to that date. It's just going to take you back to the first transaction from that day and then forward. So you would be able to kind of quickly get back to, you know, more of a search feature. So I just point that out, that maybe in the future you'll have, you know, 10 pages, and even internally it saves us time from having to like click the back arrow 10 times. So that's kind of what that jump to date does. So I'll go ahead and show the reports, you know, kind of going out of order here, but since we're in the cash account, and then we'll look at how to actually make a payment, but still, you know, in this school funds and then the accounts tab, all of this data, as it begins to build out, you're going to have the ability to come in and run reports on that anytime you want to. So in your cash account, if you click the little, looks like a sheet of paper icon, reports, you'll notice that there are several cash account specific reports that you can run. And so you'll notice this all data, and then kind of up from there. The all data report, just be forewarned, it is all data. It was built by a brilliant engineer, but it's going to be a CSV download of every piece of data that the transaction could contain. So it's a little overwhelming even for myself. So I personally recommend, you know, detailed transaction and up. These were rolled out with the help of my accounting experience in hopes that it helps you reconcile your activity whenever you need to. And we just rolled these out earlier this year, but I'll run a quick example just to kind of show you. Actually, I don't think, let me see. I don't know if it will show my screen or not, but you know, feel free to run those whenever you want to. These are going to be Excel downloads that are going to give you, you know, a good detail of the transaction. It's going to break out that game fee. I don't know if it's opening or not. I don't think it's going to show my screen, and I don't know how to do it. But anyways, so you can run those whenever you want to. Basically, it's just going to be an Excel download. It's going to break out that invoice fee versus game fee. And then any of the reports kind of above detailed transaction history, that's going to give you the most detail. All of these are going to be just summary of the same data, just summarized view as far as maybe by group all your game fee and group all your invoice fees, or group it by sport, or we did a monthly statement that is literally just beginning balance, ending balance, and you run it per month. It's not a date range, whereas the transaction history is a date range. So just a couple of different options and different views. If you find yourself at the end of the month not being able to get the data that you need that's in the system in these reports, please reach out to us. We want to be able to provide you the reports to reconcile your activity in a timely, efficient manner. So, again, if there's something that these reports are not giving you, very open to feedback. So hopefully you don't have any issue pulling the data that you need from those reports. So moving over to the game schedule. So you've connected your account, you've funded the account. I'll mention, if you send a paper check, you would see the same line item. It's not going to show pending. It's just as soon as we deposit it, you're going to see that line item for a deposit in your account. So once you have funds in your account and you're ready to make payment, I'm going to click back over to this school here. Payments are going to be made via the game schedule. So when we click on the game schedule, you're going to want to, make sure you're on the pay window. So it's very similar views, but just know that if you're on the schedule view, you're not going to have the button to click pay. So you're going to want to make sure that you're on the pay window. That's going to give you the button to pay. One other thing that we recommend, so you'll notice that this is a full schedule, home and away. If you come in and filter to your host school, it's going to narrow down that game schedule to just your hosting games. And so what that's going to do is going to, you'll be able to find your game quicker that you're trying to pay. And then also it will prevent you from clicking to pay a game that maybe you weren't supposed to. Our system does allow you to pay any game. So if you click to pay an away contest, it's going to pop up a warning and tell you you're trying to pay a game that it's an away contest. If you click through those warnings and confirm payment, it will allow you to make payment. So just by filtering to your host school, this is theoretically the only games that you should be responsible for paying for. So once, the games are being created and assigned, and those game fees are being assigned kind of behind the scenes for accounting, any changes that are made to the games, any official change or the, fees might have changed theoretically, all of that should be in the current process that we're updating this game schedule so that when it gets to accounting, it's true and ready to be paid. So to make a payment, it's going to be as simple as coming, to your game, whichever game you're ready to pay, and the dollar sign on the very right-hand side of the game line item. If you click that button, it's going to open up this payment window. That's going to pull through all of the assignments that have already been made, the game fees, the individuals. Now you can click into these fields and edit that at this time if you need to. Maybe you were told, oh, we need to, pay a per diem or a travel, or it was supposed to be $70. You can click into those fields and edit that before you confirm payment. You can select and deselect. Maybe you're not sure on an individual and you just want to wait. So you can deselect, one of the line items before you confirm payment. If you're ready to click pay, we're going to click the pay now button. And we're going to confirm our school. So just keep in mind in that example, let me go back and speak to that. When you click pay, kind of from the district level, if you are paying on behalf of several schools and you're connected to all of your member schools, you're going to have the option to select, which school is actually going to pay for this. And that's stamping that on your invoice when you make that payment. So that is kind of what that question's asking. And then this confirmation window, it's going to ask you your payment method. So not only what school's paying, but then specifically what cash account are you using to pay this. And so if you have multiple cash accounts, if you're connected to multiple schools, you'll be able to select which cash account you want to pay for this game. You'll notice here that at this point is when it's going to calculate that invoice fee. Note it's going to be $1.50, not the $2 shown here on the screen. So it will be $1.50. And so that invoice fee is calculated per official per day. So it's $1.50 per official per day. And so just note, if you have an official that calls multiple games in one day, maybe he called 3 basketball games, it's just going to be that $1.50 on that first game. And all of that's going to calculate behind the scenes here when you're making payment on that game. Once you're ready to pay and you've selected the cash account that you want to use to pay, you're just going to confirm that payment. And as soon as you confirm that payment, it's going to take it out of your cash account and deposit it into the official's cash account. And it's going to record that transaction immediately in your cash account so that you have record of it. As far as paying your officials, you know, by default, the same as an organization, those officials already have a DragonFly cash account. So you are ready to pay those as soon as they are on a game. You can make payment to them. It is the official's responsibility to log in, connect their bank account so that they can withdraw the funds directly to their bank account. But just by default, they have a cash account, so you can pay them as soon as you're ready to pay. It will go from your cash account to their cash account. As far as the 1099, so, you know, as our officials are signing up, connecting their bank account, we're requesting that W-9 information. And so we will process those 1099s at the end of the year. Anyone over the $600 threshold, we're going to issue those 1099s directly with the IRS and with the official. So the school will not have to do any of the 1099 process for their officials. Anything paid through DragonFly, DragonFly will process the 1099. And there's no additional fee for that. So there's no fee involved with transferring money on or off the platform. If you want to pull your money off, there's no fee for that. There's no fee for the official to pull his money off the platform. The only fee that you're going to see is that $1.50 per official per day. One other thing that I like to mention just here in the game schedule, you'll notice the option to add to a pay sheet. So it's an option. Typically, I see that more in a separation of duties type situation, but it's there if you want to use it. So basically, you're just you could click through your games and just, you know, add to a pay sheet. And then, so you would just create a new pay sheet and add your games. Maybe you want to do that once a week or however you want to do it. Maybe you have one individual reviewing the game details and confirming it's ready to be paid, and then one individual is actually clicking the pay button. You know, absolutely doesn't matter to DragonFly. You all can do that however you want to. Just know that that's what the pay sheet is. And so it's not necessarily any less clicks. You still have to open each game and build that pay sheet, build that invoice that you're going to pay. And then you could just come over as you create pay sheets. I'll show you in the test system. You're going to have the option to just open that pay sheet and let's see what we got here. You know, as you've built games onto a pay sheet, and then you would just, you know, follow the same process as far as selecting your cash account. The invoice fee is going to calculate the same. Behind the scenes, it's going to know, it's still going to do the per official per day calculation. So it's not minimizing the invoice fee at all. You know, I just wanted to mention that is an option. It's out there if you want to use the pay sheet, or you see the pay sheet and wonder what it is. That's what that's used for. One other thing that is available here in the game schedule. So if you click anywhere on a line item, similar to the transaction, line item, this additional window opens up, and this is where, they're creating the game, assigning the officials. But then here in the documents tab, if we go create document and then payment voucher, you have the option to create, print, a payment voucher that you can, print out, take it to the game, have your official sign off on so that you have record. This is the game I work. This is the fee that I agreed to. This is not anything, enforced by DragonFly. It is just available and out there if you want to use it. So just wanted to point that out. Again, that can be found if you click on a line item of the game, and then we're going to go to documents and then create document payment voucher. I will just, briefly mention, you'll notice that you have the option, to print it for just officials and workers, or both. So when the assignments are being made, obviously we have our officials and that's who's being assigned to the game. The workers option, if you ever want to pay any other worker to the game, that you're free to do that however you want to. And so the way that would work, if you have, a scorekeeper or a gatekeeper, or anyone that you want to pay inside of DragonFly, as long as they have a DragonFly account, you can assign them to a game and then you can pay them. So just know that to make a payment, you have to be assigned to a game, but you can pay and create a position for anyone, related to that game that you want to. You don't have the ability to pay a one-off individual inside DragonFly. They do have to be assigned to a game. So, just note that you would have to, create that position. You could name it whatever you want to, put them on a game, and then you can make payment the same as you would for an official. I believe that is everything that I have. So open it up for questions. Any questions that you have, happy to go back and look at anything else if you need further clarification.
Thanks, Dana. So we had a couple questions come in, but Laura was able to answer those, thankfully. So we will go ahead and give it a hot second and see if anybody else sends anything in, as we are operating on a delay. But for the time being, I will note this presentation is being recorded. It will be uploaded to our YouTube page by the end of the week. There are already, I believe, 2 trainings up there, 2 financial trainings up there that we've done in the past. And then we do have other trainings coming up here in the near future. We have one taking place a week from today on July 25th. That will take place at 10 a.m., which is another school finance training. And then we have another one scheduled for Tuesday, August 1st, school finance training at 10 a.m. And then I believe that's all we have for school finance trainings right now. But I did put the support email in the chat box. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and they'd be happy to help. But seeing as we have no questions, I will go ahead and turn it over to Laura for a quick wrap up, if she has anything, and then we'll sign off.
Thanks, everybody, for attending today. Continue to work through the system. If you need further help, please reach out to support@DragonFly Athletics. If you missed part of today's meeting and want to join again, like Ron mentioned, these are set up next Tuesday. So happy to have you attend as many times as you would like.